Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Shit Moms Won't Say. My guest tonight is one of the fiercest mama bears in the LGBTQIA activists on the planet, an incredible author best known for The Bold World. Her work has been recognized by GLAAD, The Advocate, and the Queen herself, Hillary Clinton, and Oprah, whatever, it's no big deal. Recently named the chair of the Human Rights Campaign Foundation, Mom of Five, Jodie Patterson.
Yes. Hi.
I mean, like, and I only write down my intro because most people that I have on here, I'm like, I could never possibly name all of it. It could never happen. So I want it to be a nice, like, holistic, here's who this person is. But I don't even think I did you justice, honestly. I don't.
Well, you got some of the important things in. Mom of five.
Mom of five.
I always put that on the table first, right?
Mom first.
I
absolutely.
think mothering gets the job done across the board.
For sure.
And then the Human Rights Campaign Foundation work that I do is pretty meaningful to me. So yeah, you covered a lot. You got the good stuff in there.
I got Hillary Clinton and Oprah though too. I felt very crucial. It gives you like a lot of cred, you know, like all of a sudden people are like, oh, she knows Hillary. Okay, got it.
But it's funny with Hillary. I had met her many times, but I think one of the first times that we were actually face to face was she just happened to pop into Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn, and on like some random street and set up her people set up a platform, and she gave a talk. And when I say like just a kind of random street, it wasn't at a square, it wasn't at a big stadium, it was a random street in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn. And I grabbed her hand and I said, I need you to help me and my trans son when you're elected. What can you do for us? And she stopped and talked and addressed the question and never let go of my hand. That started off our relationship.
She's so cool. She's incredible. Yeah. That's so cool. But yeah, no big deal. So you know her. So it feels like maybe now I know her because now I know you. So it's the same thing, no difference at all. So just because you have an illustrious career and many cool friends, you are not immune to the Big Mom 3. So you still do have to go through the Big Mom 3 before we talk about all of your cool stuff, which this is the cool stuff though, because this is mom stuff. So first question, the Big Mom 3, there's a curveball. Did you always know you wanted to be a mom?
Yes.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. Well, I love that because most people are either like, no, yeah, and it's aggressive. Like, yes, Mama Bear, 100%.
100%. 3 things I wanted to be: a mother, a teacher, and a businesswoman with a suit on.
So check.
Yeah.
So you've done it. Okay. Yeah, I think you've done your own fashion, but like business suit adjacent. Check.
Essentially, right. But the brain of a 6-year-old was saying a businesswoman in a suit, but I've got like chic glasses and some like big gold earrings.
Yeah, we make it our own. Exactly. I got a sweatshirt, you got glasses, and we're looking very nice at 118 on a Tuesday. So pretty good. Second question, the Big Mom 3. What is the like shittiest or most backhanded piece of advice or comment you've ever gotten from another mother or parent?
Oh, yeah, that's a funny one. No one has ever asked that, but of course we've remembered those moments, right? Mm-hmm. I had a close friend say to another close friend, well, I could have done just what Jodie did if I had a rich husband too. Who wouldn't write a book?
I needed a moment of silence for my soul. I'm very sorry.
Who wouldn't have, climbed to success? Who wouldn't have if they had a rich husband? Well, there's so many things you can pick apart in that. One is, baby girl, go and do it then. If you can do it, do it. Like, if it sounds easy to you, I'm glad, because you'll need that energy. So go freaking do it. The next one is, what came along with that rich husband, quote unquote rich husband, was a lot of emotional turmoil, a lot of lack of confidence, a lot of burying shit deep. And I actually didn't do much when I was, quote unquote, married to the rich husband, so it wasn't about him. Yeah. That was pretty shitty, like I want my successes to be kind of attached to me, not to some rich husband.
Also, like, dear ladies, stop shitting on other women's success. We get nowhere when you do that. Like Jodie said, if you want to do it, fucking do it. Go do it. Go enjoy and be successful. There's room for everybody. Go be successful. That's great. I hate that one. I really hate that one a lot. Yeah. I've had some really shitty ones. That one is like specifically, that's like sticking to my ribs. I don't like it. It's icky. Okay. Let's move away from icky. Third question, the Big Mom 3. What is a skill or like superpower you had before becoming a mom that you think has really helped you as a mom? Oh no, I don't even know what popped into your head, but that was maniacal. That got crazy real fast.
Funniest thing, I've never, said that, but like when you said, what's your superpower? The first thing that came to my mind was my vagina. And when you said that helped you as a mom, and I was like, my vagina. Look, that's one of my superpowers. And I don't mean it in one particular way. I don't know why that came to my mind. It's never come to my mind before. I have been thinking a lot about my vagina recently as a 51-year-old woman who is no longer birthing, who is, not living with another, like a lover or a spouse in my house, who is probably going through menopause soon, who is sensual and sexual. So I've been, and also who is living in a time when vaginas are regulated and wombs are regulated. And so I've been thinking a lot about it. It is something that I cherish, which is always your superpower. It is something that not everyone has, quite special. And it is something that has brought 5 of the phenomenal pieces of joy into my life and into the world. I'm going to stick with my vagina for today.
I'm going to stick with your vagina for today. That's a great answer. Most people are like, I can multitask. And you're like, no, it's right here. This is my fucking superpower. Yes. 100%. Yes. Oh my God. I should just
a lot of coconut oil and water for her.
Keep her hydrated. I came downstairs today. I said to my wife, I was like, my skin is like, why do you fucking hate me? Every morning, it's like, you hate me. Take care of me. So yes, take care of her. Take care of your skin. And that's the best answer I've ever gotten to that question. Thank you very much. That will be the promo video. I could tell you it right now, 100%.
My vagina.
Your vagina. Jodie Patterson's vagina. You hear that, Hillary? We're talking about her vagina. Let's shift gears a bit. So I mean, your career has just been wild and impactful. And before we started filming, you shared a sentiment with me that like, I wish more people could embrace. And that's that you've never, not that it's not goal oriented, but if you followed passions. So if you were passionate about music at the time, you got a job in the music industry. You're passionate about beauty at the time, you got a job, like you follow what you love in the moment. And that's led you to do some really cool shit. Some of that really cool shit has been authoring. I mean, you wrote an incredible book called The Bold World, which people automatically assume is about your child's journey, when in reality, it's really your journey as a mother raising this child. And then you just put out Born Ready, which is like a kid's book about identity. I mean, like you tackle very big topics in a highly consumable way. I'd love to hear a little bit about the books because they deserve all the pump up in the world.
I've always been a writer. First of all, can I just pause for a second because I want to turn my notifications off. I forgot to, and my mom is furiously trying to reach me. Hold on. It's my mom again.
Is everything okay?
1:30 to, okay, here we go. So I've always been a writer. Even before I was a published writer. I studied literature in college at Spelman. I've been notating in notebooks for decades, and I've saved them, stacks and stacks of moleskin black books. I have thousands and thousands of notes and letters and short stories in my iPhone. Many of those then became part of Bold World. I wanted years ago, I worked in publishing as a book editor, a junior book editor right out of college. And then I asked my dad soon after I graduated college if he would pay for my grad school, because I wanted to go to grad school for journalism or literature, just to get more, deeper into the study of it. And he said, absolutely not. I will not spend a dime to send you to grad school. And he said, grad school is for fat, gay, and ugly women. I'm glad you laughed, because I was mortified. I cried as a young woman, because I thought, who says I'm not gay? Who says I'm not fat? And who says that to you, what is ugly to you is beautiful, not beautiful to me? And so the three words he chose, fat, gay, and ugly, to turn me off, I thought, well, those aren't turnoffs to me. And one, who says I'm not those things, and why are those things negative to you? And then also, if I really understood where he was coming from, it was a sexist statement that said women should be, and he said, your skin is so beautiful, Jodie, you can marry well.
Oh.
And he thought
we all have that generational trauma.
Oh my gosh. I really thought he was giving me, a compliment, especially as a Black woman growing up in that time when brown-skinned Black women weren't seen as beautiful. He was telling me, you're beautiful, do what beautiful women do, marry well. And so that turned me away from, I didn't go to grad school because I didn't have the money as a young person I didn't do that. But since then, I really have decided and was determined to follow things that were interesting to me, that I could do without anyone's approval. So it was not something I had to ask someone to help me pay for or approve of. I just followed passion. And that took me from publishing to music management, to nightlife, to fashion and beauty. And all of those moments, I wasn't like climbing a ladder. In fact, some jobs were paying me less than the job I had before. Most often the jobs didn't have any significant titles. But each job was giving me a world of information and like goo gobs of experience. And I held on to each piece of information and each experience. And now at 51, those are my stories. So I'm writing about them. I'm writing about those experiences, those feelings, those people, their language. And that is probably the only way I could have gotten to here. Through just, it wasn't trial and error. My editor said, I'm hearing, as she was reading my book before it was published, she said, I'm listening to all the different places you've worked. You sound a little flighty. You sound a little like not committed. And I said, well, it's not flighty. It was, perhaps I was in flight, but I was, soaking up in a selfish way, everything I was interested in, and then moving on.
I don't think that's selfish though. I think that's what life should be. People, they say, I'm interested in, well, not me, but some people are interested in sports. I'm interested in sports. And then they hang their hat on this interest forever. Well, what's to say you don't also have an interest in literature, or you don't also have an interest in engineering? Why do you have to just be interested in sports? Like, broaden. There's nothing wrong with knowing a lot, or knowing a little bit about a lot, I should say, and putting all that information together to become a very whole person.
Absolutely. I mean, I was reading this, and I'm going to read it to you, this quote that I heard on Instagram. Sometimes you find really great things.
Beautiful things on Instagram. Yeah.
And it says, totally. Western culture believes we must be alive for a purpose, to work, to make money. Some indigenous cultures believe we're alive just as nature is alive, to be here, to be beautiful and strange. We don't need to achieve anything to be valid in our humanness. I didn't know that language then as a kid and as a young woman, but when I was deciding to go into music, it was because music was making me feel alive, or fashion or beauty. These were the things that were like lighting up my eyes. Not to achieve a title, and definitely wasn't to achieve any particular monetary achievements, because I wasn't making much money back then. But the richness, as Bob Marley says, the wealth is in life. Like, material things aren't really the wealth, it's the life.
It's so cool. It's so cool. I mean, and and then it's translated into these two amazing books, and
Thank you.
It's beautiful the way you talk about life and experience, and I don't think it reads as flighty, and now hearing you say, like, I have all these things have happened in my life because I followed my passion and my heart and the thing that sparked my interest at the time. As someone who's read, who's read your books, I'm like, oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That really checks out. So for, first and foremost, everybody, please check out The Bold World, check out Born Ready. It's incredible. It's just, The Bold World specifically is something that I was like, this is a book. This is a freaking book. Like, please. What I want to jump to, though, and I think that it all sort of leads together, and we chatted briefly about this before, is an idea and not really a concept. It's a real thing, right? Like, that you're debating, how do you talk about this maybe in a next book? Maybe it'll make it into your next book, maybe it won't, but it's something that you're impassioned by right now, and it's this idea of genderless mothering. And as a queer family, we're always interested in learning different ways of mothering. And I think that some people hear terms like genderless mothering and they're like, oh my God, another thing. And you're like, yes, another fucking thing. Learn about it.
One more. Yeah.
One more. We're trying to change the world. Doesn't just happen by doing nothing. So I'd love to understand, like, what's the work you're doing around genderless mothering? Like, first of all, like, your definition of it, I would love to hear from you. Like, we chatted, but not everybody understands it. And where do we go? How do we do better?
Well, this is a really long conversation. I'm going to try to keep it. So, like, I'm going to try to hit the top points. But I would really, I'm exploring this still. This is something that I myself am still exploring, and I hope it comes out in a book. But essentially, from 0 to like 8 or 0 to 3, you can, as a mother, make your kid's life pretty cozy. And then when you hit 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, you're like, what the hell? I can't do anything right. Everyone's, angry. Folks are rolling their eyes at me. The stakes get bigger and bigger. And it was at that point, when I could not keep my 5 children cozy and happy, that I started to readdress mothering. Because that idea of soothing and supporting as a mother's role just wasn't doing the job. And so when I started to reassess mothering, I looked at mothering differently. I looked at mothering as building up children, building up people, building up communities, building up ideas. It's mother as builder, as opposed to mother as soother and coddler and helicopter. So when we think about building up our kids, what does that mean? And part of that to me is, raising children or people to be aware and strong, to be collaborative and communicative, to be sustainable. I've watched some of that work happen so strongly in the queer community. I've seen brothers mother their own brothers. I've seen I've seen women mother non-biological children and people. I've seen non-cisgender women mother, trans women mother. I've seen men mother. So I think it's like genderless in terms of the idea. It's not who you are, but what you're doing. You're building up a person, a community, and their ideas. So it's very abstract to some folks because we often think of mothering as biologically related and cisgender and white even, and wealthy white. Everything else is not really like good mothering. When I talk about mothering, I'm not talking about whiteness. I'm not talking about biology. I'm talking about the actions that we take to build people and their communities up. It's kind of.
I love it. And you're so right. Like, the idea of a mother, right, is so so synonymous with like femininity. It's so synonymous with, did you carry that baby? Like, so in our relationship, I've never been interested in carrying a baby in my life. It's nothing I want to do. And oftentimes I'll be looked at as like a non-parent. I'm very much a mother. I build my little girl up every day of her life. On the other part of that, it's absolutely associated with privilege and whiteness and wealth. Why? There are incredible people who are building communities. Like you said, it's a community, it's an idea, it's a person. Like, I think that is such an incredible topic that I can't, well, I shouldn't say I can't imagine, because people refuse to embrace the silliest things, right? They refuse to embrace just passion and love, and I don't get it. I can't imagine somebody taking a look at a concept like that and not getting it or not wanting to embrace it.
And I think what's hard about it is people want proof that things work. They want this idea that, like, data, they want data to prove the outcome. And I'm not a sociologist. I'm not an historian. I'm not even a data analyzer. Like, I'm a mother.
Mm-hmm.
And so that has given me a perspective, and I'm a Black woman, and that's given me perspective. A lot of what I'm talking about has existed in the Black community for centuries, for generations. This idea of building from nothing. So when you look at Black churches, you look at historically Black colleges and institutions, you look at communities like Tulsa, Black Wall Street, we built these communities up from the darkness, from zero, when no one was helping, when no one was watching. That strategy, look, I'd say Black people have been mothering themselves for generations. Sure. And so I want to show that, and I want to take that to you and to my kids, to show us how we can build each other up and mother each other. I think more people should be mothering, not necessarily through their vagina. Just mothering. Mother something.
I think that's the best. Is like, right. Like, motherhood has nothing to do with your vagina. It doesn't. It truly doesn't. Sometimes, but like, it's just, they're not in line. I think that's a really cool concept. And I think you shared the, like, very key stuff in a very compact way. This is obviously a super broad topic, right? Like, monster topic. And I think you did a good job.
Thank you. I'll talk to my agent.
Yeah, go talk to her. I think you did a really good job with it. Before we wrap up, I have like a quick little, because like I said, I have not even begun to touch on, you know, your beauty lines and your work with HRC, like, none of it. I've just not even gotten to it, because there's just so many wonderful things, because you're a passionate person who follows your passion. So I'm going to ask a very broad question. What's next? Like, where are you going? What you doing? What's like lighting you up right now?
It's a great question. Love. I am in love. That lights me up. I have kids that are, you know, heading to college soon or heading into high school soon. Watching like that movement through life lights me up. Work-wise, I'm taking The Bold World, which is the first book we talked about, and I'm trying to adapt it for television.
Ooh.
Because we've never seen a Black family that tells the story of being transgender, being queer, being Black, and being happy. Mm-mm. Usually it's the story of Black trans suicide, Black trans death. This is Black trans triumphant, Black trans happy, Black trans weird, Black trans and anime, Black trans and math, you know, Black trans and divorce, Black trans and new relationships. So the story that I want to bring to television is being queer and Black, and it's all good. Yeah. And it's based on my life, based on our lives as a once married mom, then moving to Brooklyn and being a very single, independent woman, redefining single, redefining queer, and redefining Blackness.
I would watch the shit out of that. I would. I can't wait. As soon as it hits, I'm going to be like, nobody talk to me, because I'm going to just watch all of it. And then as soon as I'm done, I'll rewatch it. And then you can talk to me again, just in case I missed something. Yeah, I can watch twice.
I'm gonna call on you.
Please do. I will be the ultimate hype girl in that scenario. Yeah. I will post about it constantly and be like, did you watch it? Did you catch episode 2, episode 3? I love that. That's so cool. Because, you know, and before we kind of wrap up, like you said, like, this is like Black triumphant. So many times when you're seeing any minority on TV, it's so specifically about like, this is this Asian person in this very Asian scenario doing this very Asian thing, and they don't just exist. You know, this is this lesbian on the show, and it's the storyline's all about them being a lesbian. They're just a lesbian. Like, You're just a family that's dealt with some shit as a family together, and you've succeeded as a family. And like that shit should be highlighted all day.
So beautiful when you see it. Like I watched Swan Song with Mahershala Ali on Apple TV, and it's just about like it's a sci-fi moment. The family is Black and the family is set slightly in the future, but they don't talk about the struggles of how they acquired the house. They don't talk about the struggles at work being Black. They talk about the more intricate details of dying when you have a wife and child and the choices you make. And he was Black, but it was not based on, the hardships of being Black. I love this kind of story because really what's interesting is that, I talk a lot about in public about my life as a cisgender woman, raising a trans kid, raising genderqueer, raising straight kids, raising a lot of different kids. And my audience is not like me necessarily. Many of the folks that listen to me and follow me and are rooting for me are not Black women raising trans kids. So the stories that I'm telling are much more, hopefully, applicable. You don't have to be a Black woman who's 51 raising a trans kid to get what I'm saying. You just have to be a woman who is frustrated with not understanding her children. You just have to be a person who wants to connect perhaps with the younger generation. You just have to be someone who has a team of people dependent on them to see things differently and to sort of get the bigger picture. That's it.
Awesome. It's so true. It's so, so true. Listen, let's start to wrap it up. I am so thankful that you were here. I have 2 final questions for you, and then we'll talk about, where everyone can find you and all that good stuff. But so you have 5 kids, wide range of ages. So I always love this question because it really depends on where you are in life. What is something as a mother of 5 with your kids at their current ages that you cannot live without?
Cleaning wipes.
Yes.
Yeah.
There you go.
I really do take them on every trip, every bathroom, every bedroom has cleaning wipes. We do a lot of activities out in the world. And I try not to, even with COVID, I try to understand that they've got to get out there. And so like the rules are no shoes in the house. You wash your hands as soon as you come in, you take off your clothes, and I wipe everything down and then carry on, have a good time. So cleaning wipes, but then also I'd say books.
Yeah.
And then also I'd say my Alexa for music.
It's a team, it's a team effort. It's a whole bunch of
play Marvin Gaye.
Like Alexa, play silence. Nothing.
Oh my gosh, Alexa, quiet, stop.
I had that happen on a work call the other day. I made a joke. It was just the 2 of us. I was like, Alexa, play just the 2 of us. And then my employees, Alexa, play just the 2 of us. Alexa's always listening. Okay, my final question for you. What is something you know now that you wish you knew before becoming a mom?
Oh, God, there's so many things. I wish I knew that things, the world, and people are not binary. There's not one answer to 2 options. And that has applied to so many things. When I'm in an argument with my kids, there's not one answer. We don't have to be, is it this or that? We can actually have long form conversation and come up with a 3rd, a 4th, a 5th, a 6th, a 7th option. That non-binary concept applies to children too, and people too. So I wish I knew going into it that my kids are not going to be either boy or girl. They're going to be, endless ways of identifying, and be ready for that, be prepared for that, embrace that. I wish I knew that I was not necessarily going to be young and then old. I was going to be all kinds of things flowing in and out of frivolous to, organized, to mundane, to spontaneous, all throughout my life. This idea that it's not one of 2 choices. It's not either this or that. I wish I really knew that concept of life is non-binary. People are non-binary. Decisions are non-binary. That would have helped me, because I'm trying to do that now. I'm like, we're only seeing 2 options here. I need more.
More. Yeah.
I need more, guys. Bring more ideas to the table.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. Listen, thank you again for being here. Truly, like, it is an honor to get to hang out with you for a half hour. I am in awe of you and your career and everything you're doing. And, I can't wait to keep following you and watching what you're doing. And I want everyone else to do that as well. So where can they check you out?
I spend a lot of time on Instagram. I really enjoy it.
She really
I do. Like, I find interesting things on Instagram. And then I also veg out. So I'm Jodie Patterson on Instagram. My books are The Bold World, A Story of Family and Transformation. And my children's book is Born Ready, The True Story of a Boy Named Penelope.
So cool.
Yeah.
Thank you again. And thank you for tuning in to Shit Moms Won't Say. We'll see you next week. Thank you.